Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Right now at 10, parts of Connecticut now listed under an extreme drought. We'll find out how one farmer is managing and tell you when we could see rain next in our forecast. Also, for the first time, data is released about police use of force in Connecticut. We'll break down the stats. Plus,
had a difficult year here in Waterbury.
New details in the third homicide in Waterbury in less than a week. We'll tell you what we're learning about the suspect tonight. And we begin here at 10 with the rising drought concerns across our state, especially in eastern Connecticut. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brent Harden. The state says Windham and New London counties are now listed in stage 3 drought conditions. They've only received about 60% of their normal rainfall. That is easily the lowest in the state. Here's a look at the newest U.S. Drought Monitor map for Connecticut. Homeowners with wells and farmers are worried about this extreme lack of rain. Fox 61's Alicia Machado was in the town of Brooklyn tonight and tells us how one farmer is managing his crops.
I'm here at Paculis Farm where they grow orchard grass sold as hay. The owner tells me there should be 12 to 15 inches high here, but as you can see, not much. It should grow all the way to the woods out there, but they just haven't gotten enough rain. So the saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side, at least when you're in an extreme drought.
It's been a bad year for hay.
And Brooklyn hay farmer Lou Broder knows a thing or two about grass.
This year has been very dry, and the weatherman's not cooperating with us at all. I mowed this morning. This should have been 12 to 15 inches high for second cutting and nice and thick. And as you can see, there's nothing really there. It's only about 4 or 5 inches high.
Broder's family has owned Paculis Farm in Brooklyn since 1915. He's worked on the farm since he was a kid and took over the business about 10 years ago. But this year has been a challenge. Eastern Connecticut is in an extreme drought and the rest of the state moderate to severe drought. Governor Lamont declaring stage 3 drought conditions for New London and Windham counties. Rain clouds just haven't visited as much as farmers need.
It's Mother Nature. Sometimes it goes north of us, sometimes it goes south, sometimes it just disappears.
Paculis sells mostly to horse farms in Connecticut and produces up to 15,000 square bales. Broder says the barn would normally be full, but this year only half of what it should be.
It's going to be very hard to meet the demand, and what's going to happen is the farmers in eastern Connecticut are going to run out of hay very early this year.
Some Connecticut communities have put mandatory water conservation measures in place. Nearby, Putnam under a mandatory water ban for anything not essential, like watering lawns or washing cars. The drought, another item on the list of challenges this year for local businesses like Paculis Farm.
Price of diesel fuel and fertilizer and everything that we need for the farm is just almost doubled in price, and it's getting harder and harder to make a living farming. And now when you get a year like this where we have a very poor hay crop, it's going to be a bleak winter.
The season typically lasts until early November, but that all depends on how much rain they get and if it snows early. We're in Brooklyn. Alicia Machado, Fox 61 News.
All right, Alicia, thank you. Time now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. So, Rach, I know there are some chances for rain in the forecast. Question is when and how much?
Not even enough to put a blip or dent in the rainfall deficit. I just saw these numbers tonight, and I have to say they are mind-boggling. This is how much rain we would need to end the drought in 1 month. 11 inches of rain. That is way too much, and barring any tropical systems, that's likely not going to happen. Over the course of 2 months, if we were to spread out that rain, get a couple of storms, we would need 15 inches of rain over the course of 2 months to end the drought, and almost 20 inches of rain if it was spread across 3 months. So we are going to be here quite a while before we dig out. Now, that being said, we can't chip away at it. Again, this is to get us back to square one, to where we need to be, filling up the reservoirs. And we do have a chance for some showers as we head into early next week, the next opportunity being Monday or Tuesday, and crossing my fingers that holds together. But for now, we are looking dry. We did have a few bonus showers that ended up coming through today and were more numerous than I expected that they would be. Right now, temperatures are in the 60s to right around 70 degrees. Low temperatures tonight sitting in the 60s, and as we head through the day tomorrow, we are heating things up. Lots of sunshine, high temperatures climbing between 85 to right around 90 as we head through the afternoon, but it will not be humid, which is some good news unless you're a fan of humidity. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about the U.S. Drought Monitor report, kind of what it means for you, and we'll take a look at those rainfall chances ahead coming up in just a bit. Brent.
All right, Rachel, thanks. We'll see you in a few minutes. New at 10 tonight, the state of Connecticut releasing data for the first time showing the races of people against whom police use force. That data from 2019 and 2020 appears to show officers here used force against black people disproportionately compared to white people. Out of more than 1,300 people reported to have been subjected to police use of force, 38% were black, despite making up just 13% of Connecticut's population. 33% of people in use of force situations were white, and 20% were Hispanic. The analysts from UConn do say the reporting was insufficient, limited, and cannot be used for a comprehensive assessment. Now, here's a look at the police agencies in our state with the most use of force incidents. Bridgeport, which is the largest city, was first with 264 incidents, followed by Waterbury, the state police, and then New Haven, and then Hartford. The report also says 11 people were killed by officers using force in 2019 and 2020. Nearly 9 of every 10 people subjected to police force were unarmed, and the majority of force used involved physical restraint. Connecticut is the second state to release use of force data after New Jersey. Well, new details in Waterbury tonight as police identify the suspect wanted in the third deadly shooting there in less than a week. The police chief says 31-year-old Joseph Whitaker of Waterbury is wanted for murder. 32-year-old Ashard Santos was shot in front of Birdie's West Indian restaurant on North Main Street. It happened early this morning. Investigators say a fight broke out between Santos and someone else, which led to the shootings. The deadly shootings are not believed to be random acts of violence.
These were certainly targeted incidents. We don't feel that our community is, in jeopardy of, a random shooting at this point in time.
And no arrests have been made in this latest shooting death. Anyone with information should call Waterbury Police. Rick DeBate, the Ellington man convicted of killing his wife, Connie, right before Christmas back in 2015, will spend the next 65 years in prison. He was sentenced in Rockville Superior Court 3 months after being convicted of murder. Supporters of Rick and Connie DeBate spoke passionately to the judge prior to sentencing, and that included Connie's mother, who shared a phone call with her daughter hours before she was killed.
The first thing she said on the phone was, "Mom, I love you. You're my best friend." And I didn't know what's going on. I said, "I love you too, and you're a good friend of mine."
The case gained national attention since Connie was wearing a Fitbit at the time of her death. The data collected from it showed discrepancies between her husband's original statements to police. Well, school districts around the state are getting ready to welcome kids back to school, and we've shown you many communities across the state coming together to make sure students have the supplies they need for the beginning of class. New Haven welcomed families today for a back-to-school rally, and that's where we find Fox 61's Gabby Molina joining us live tonight to tell us what the focus is for this year. Gabby.
Brent, a brand new school year means all brand new school supplies. New Haven students got the chance to get some of those at that back to school rally today. But a new school year also means new goals for the district. In New Haven this year, they're focusing on attendance and reading. Backpacks, check. School supplies, check. Books, check. New Haven students are geared up and ready to go back to school.
So have a good school year.
Families getting excited at the annual back to school rally, where thousands of students were able to pick up everything they needed for a successful year.
I have 5 kids. I mean, any opportunity to get some school supplies for them is a big help. I'm a single mom, so it really is a blessing for all of us.
It was also a chance for the school district to share what success will look like, letting families know there will be a big focus on attendance.
We cannot teach an empty seat. So attendance is so very important. That's one of the most important pieces for us.
Last year, the district struggled with absenteeism.
We recognize challenges sometimes, obstacles sometimes, but we really want to collaborate with families this year to make sure that our students come to school, that they're well rested, that they come get their breakfast on time.
There's also a focus on reading. The New Haven Federation of Teachers received 10,000 books they gave away to students on Thursday, allowing everyone to take as many as they wanted.
We just want students to have books in their hands as much as possible. Whatever's left, we're going to take them to schools and make sure students at schools get them.
Setting the stage for a great school year.
And to be able to say to our students, we care about you, we want you to have the resources that you need to thrive, and we really want to promote that love of learning.
The first day of school here in New Haven is coming up super fast. It's on August 29th. Live in New Haven, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
All right, Gabby, thank you. And neighborhoods across Hartford also celebrated back to school time today. The city's Frog Hollow neighborhood treated families to a barbecue, along with backpacks filled with school supplies. The courtyard at Billings Forge had games for the kids to help them make friends and get excited for the new year.
We have a lot of low-income people and plus bad times, especially with everything coming higher in prices. So I think this is a good way, to give out to our kids and feel safe and feel like they have something going back to school.
I feel happy that we were invited, and about school, I'm very excited.
The Hispanic Health Council and Mikasa filled the backpacks, while volunteers from the Riverfront Family Church brought the games, and the Preservation of Affordable Housing group worked the grills.